I know you're probably wondering one of two things. One, Matt, what the heck is going on with your videos? And two, what are these new Miami courts playing like? Oh, we'll get into all of it. Today, don't hit yourself, on Coffee Break Tennis, we talk about the first day of play, or at least the first day of real play, not counting qualifiers, at the new stadium for the Miami Open. What are the courts like? What can we expect? Of course, we will look at the draw. We'll even take a peek at the women's draw today. The latest controversy, a lot of Joker fans out there, Joker faces, are very upset about something Roger Federer said. We'll talk about that. We'll probably talk about something else I forgot about in here. And did you hear about Naomi Osaka being sued by her former coach? We'll talk about that at the end of the show, all in a good day's work. Welcome to Coffee Break Tennis, the fastest growing tennis talk show in the world. Public enemy number one, me, Matt Bradshaw, the host of the ATP. Why are the ATP persecuting me? Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that first. So, as you know, my last couple videos have been pulled down. Many of you have commented below things like, Matt, I subscribed to Tennis TV because of the highlight clips that you put together on your show. I was so excited to see it, and I thought, you know what? I want to watch all the matches and never miss a thing like the humble host, me, Matt. So I subscribed. I'm a paying customer of ATP Tennis TV, sending dollars to ATP Media, the very name of the thing that keeps flagging my videos and pulling them down, even though I am following the law. There is a part of copyright law that says if you are providing commentary, criticism, positive praise, whatever, if you're talking about the copyrighted work, the clips of the matches, and you're not taking the place of the business being the ATP, their business model, being they're broadcasting these matches. I'm not taking the place of them. You can't get the broadcast from me, and that's never what we intended to do here at Coffee Break Tennis. We are critiquing, commentating over it, and building the excitement, helping grow the sport of tennis. Mr. Goat is convinced it's just some intern over at ATP, so maybe we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But for now, there will not be any clips from matches. I will not use 1 second, because the last video, if you saw it before they took it down, I cut all my highlights out. I only left the 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds of footage I used in the beginning of the show to point out how crazy it was when Federer did 2 drop shots in a row. And also, obviously, that was what a lot of people said was the moment Federer lost the match. So I used that to start the show. Even that, even though I'm breaking no law, was enough for them to go after me, harass me. So we will not use any more clips. Now, that is out of the way. Let's talk about these courts. First, if we want to talk about the courts, let's look at some resultos. By the way, how crazy is it? I saw a picture of Kei Nishikori wearing this very Uniqlo, a hoodie? A hood? It's got a hood. And it's got the Uniqlo logos on it. And I bought this from their store because, you can't find any of their freaking tennis stuff hardly. And they had this, which is the same thing. I saw Federer wearing it too, maybe at the Australian Open this year. And it's got no Uniqlo stickers. It's very weird. Very weird. I still love it. I enjoy it. I wear it on the courts all the time. By the way, last night I had a league tennis match. I'll get into it if you're upset with me. I'll get into the results, and we'll talk about the court speed. But I played a league tennis match at the 5-0 level and got beat pretty bad by a very good player who has seen my show. This is the first time someone has seen me and seen me on YouTube, played me in a league tennis match in the greater Atlanta area, and given me a nice little trip to Beatdown City. Anyways, I thought I'd share that with you. I knew the day would come. Pretty funny stuff. He was very good. Played great. I couldn't get my feet set. That's enough about me. Let's talk about this tournament. Oh, yeah, that's for later. So, just look at some results here. Federico Del Bonis beat, how do you say his name again? Gojovic. Gojovic is what I used to say. Gojovcik. Gojovcik is how they're saying it now. 6-4, 6-2. Pretty easy. Carballes Benya beat Kudla. 6-1, 6-2. Of course, we know Auger Aliassime got through in straight sets. Riley Opelka, straight sets. A bunch of people. I'm not going to read all of it. But here's another one that sticks out to me. Jo Wilfried Tsonga. Tsonga lost 6-4, 6-4 to Pablo Cuevas. If you watch a lot of clay tennis, you know Pablo Cuevas is a very good clay court player. Where am I going with all this? Is Kudla. Kudla's best results ever on grass. Faster courts is what Kudla likes. That's his game. Wilfried Tsonga's best results, Australian Open, Wimbledon. Faster surfaces. All those names like Del Bonis, Carballes Baena, and of course, Pablo Cuevas. These are all great clay court players, and they all have won in straight sets today over players who do better on hard courts and faster courts. That should tell you all you need to know. Also, Wirt Heimenbergler on his OK podcast, he had James Blake, the new tournament director, on the show and asked him about the court. James Blake spent a lot of time talking about the color and how happy is he got the color of the courts right.
Describe the courts.
The courts are, we're all real happy about the color. We wanted to get it a little bit more unique with somewhat of the Dolphins color, so we got a little bit of the green in there, and we didn't do it too bright so that the players don't have an issue.
Kind of avoiding the question of how's it going to play, is it going to be super slow? He did say it's very similar to Indian Wells, but one thing that's not similar in Indian Wells is you don't have the thin air.
It's going to be pretty similar to Indian Wells, I think. Obviously, different conditions of the air, because it's not really as much the thin air, the desert air. It's much more humid, but the court surface is going to be pretty similar to Indian Wells, so it should be as easy a transition as we can make it coming from the desert.
You got more humidity in the Miami area. This is really Miami Gardens, if you want to look up the weather like I did. And there's going to be some humidity, like always, and cooler temperatures than maybe we're used to. Look up Miami Gardens. That is much closer to where the stadium is than actually looking up Miami or Key Biscayne like we would have done in the past if you want to see the exact weather conditions the players are going to be playing through. So today was a fairly cool day. I think it was 75, 76 during those matches I talked about. And the ball's going to move through the air slower. It's especially when it's cooler too, but also because of the humidity, the air is much thinner out in the desert at Indian Wells. So if what James Blake is saying is the court is going to be very similar to Indian Wells, which it definitely looks like that means it's going to play even slower here because of the conditions. Indian Wells has the benefit of the ball flying through the air quicker because of the thinner air. So that's what you can see from those results. We haven't seen a real night match yet, so who knows what it'll be like. I mean, it's going to be slower. What do you mean, who knows? We know. Also, because it's like Indian Wells, like James Blake said, the ball is bouncing higher. So this is not ideal for Roger Federer. But you know what also is not ideal for Roger Federer? And, you know, it's not ideal. Rafa would like it. Rafa, who's been to the final many times here in Miami, never won. It's a shame he won't be here because he would probably really like these conditions, although he might even like it a little bit faster. But he'll like the high bounce. Of course, Sasha Zverev, John Isner, those guys, big, tall guys, they'll probably like this court. They have time to set their feet. The ball bouncing high won't bother them as much as shorter players. Anyways, one thing Roger Federer probably isn't enjoying right now is this latest little controversy where he said to well, let's just get into it. This is from George Belshaw over at the Metro UK tennis website, or news website. Should the Serb triumph at Roland Garros, Novak Djokovic will hold all 4 Grand Slam titles at once. Asking Roger Federer what he thinks of it. Roger Federer said, sure, it's impressive, but he threw the shade, as the teenagers like to say. Super impressive. It ranks all the way up there, in my opinion, said the Fed. There's no secret, though, nowadays it's easier to do than maybe before. The difference was just so extreme that it's hard to do what Bjorn Borg did, winning back-to-back French Opens, Wimbledons, because the game was so different. You really had to serve and volley on the grass. Today, even if you don't serve and volley one time, you can win the Wimbledon, said Roger Federer. So a lot of Joker fans out there, and he said some other stuff, that you get the gist of it. He's saying the nature of, and it's true, even here in Miami, all the courts are playing similar to each other now, tour wide. And which way are they going? Are they going all faster? No, they're going all slower. They're all getting more and more like the clay. Direct shot, direct hit. So, Twitter exploded, which I hate saying that phrase, but people say it. Twitter exploded. Let's put the racket away so we can really dig into this draw. We don't have much time. We got to get out of here soon. Twitter exploded with the angry Djokovic fans saying, Roger's just jealous because he couldn't win all 4 majors. But what Roger says is definitely true, and it's trending in a way that is better for Rafa and Joker than it is for Roger. Anyways, let's look at another George Belshaw preview of the draw from the Metro. And he really focuses on 2 players. You guessed it. Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer. Djokovic could go up against... Oh, excuse me. This is Federer's draw. So Matthew Ebden will be Saturday. Djokovic will probably go up against Tomas Birdman Berdych, but I heard... Is Berdych out? The Birdman Berdych not flying high. I guess he's pulled out of the tournament. I thought I heard something like that. So Bernie Tomic could be through for Djokovic in the first round, or a qualifier, or a lucky loser. John the Milkman Millman Delbonis could be his third round. Yeah, let's do Joker really quick. Batista Agu round 4. Milos Raonic quarterfinal. Nishikori semifinal. Federer. Federer's draw also not the easiest. So Novak Djokovic's draw, Federer's draw, the dirty little secret is it's not the easiest draws. Now, one bad thing about the draw for Djokovic, what I thought was the most danger out of these guys, although Batista Agu, he did lose to him earlier in the year. Djokovic did. The Birdman Berdych is apparently out of the tournament. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it's going to be a lucky loser. It could be Bernie Tomic. Of course, John Isner is there. It could easily be Isner instead of Raonic. He's defending champion after all. Kyle Edmund is around. Let's look at the Federer side. Zverev and Tsitsipas is a quarterfinal that we're expecting to see. So the bottom half of the draw with Federer, Matthew Ebden, that's very winnable for Roger. Stanislaw, round 3, that would be Monday. I have tickets to both sessions Monday, so I would see Roger and Wawrinka in person. Very exciting. Danny Medvedev, Kakinak, Zverev, Joker. Could be Tsitsipas instead of Zverev there in that semifinal spot. Wouldn't that be a cool match to see? Kevin Anderson makes his return. He'll be around. Cameron Norrie's around. Shapo, Cilic is in that side. Another storyline going on here is Agassi's 1-6, Joker's 1-6. Can Joker be the first to get 7? Maybe. Now, I said earlier Nishikori could get through, but if we look at the draw, how about Nick Kyrgios? He's got to play the Sandman, Tennis Sandgren first. Doozy's going to play Nishikori. Doozy, Lajovic could beat Nishikori. You never know. I like Kyrgios to get through here if he's ready to put some major effort in. Maybe Kyrgios could get through, although it's another slow, high-bouncing court. Didn't work as well at Indian Wells for him. Cabarrez Bena is already through. So he'll play Borna Coric. Borna Coric hasn't been doing very well. Monfils, is he going to be healthy? He's in there. I got Basilashvili coming through there. Aliassime is in. And I think that means we're guaranteed going to get... we'll get Marty Fucsovic, who was practicing with Federer the other day. And then the winner of that could play the winner between Hurkacz, rhymes with Latch, and Dominic Thiem. So, I don't know, call me crazy, but I filled this out just for the heck of it. I printed out the draw, and I filled it with a bunch of guesses. Maybe I'll take a picture and put it on the screen so you can see. And again, I did kind of like what I did at the Australian Open. I did a bunch of kind of risky picks, thinking, wouldn't this be interesting if this crazy stuff happened? And it very well could happen. So I put Dominic Thiem losing to Hubie Hurkacz, the guy that Federer had to beat before playing Dominic Thiem in the quarterfinals because he got the walkover of Rafa. I've been really impressed by Hubie Hurkacz, who kind of reminds me of Andy Murray. Now, if I had to pick, I would go Dominic Thiem, but you never know. A lot of times when guys have a big breakthrough, like Sasha Zverev had a major breakthrough, just as impressive as Dominic Thiem's win at the World Tour Finals. Look what happened to him at the Aussie Open. So I got Hubie and Basilashvili getting through Monfils, Hubie Hurkacz and Kyrgios quarterfinal I put down here. You know, call me crazy. I got Isner coming through to face Djokovic in the quarterfinals because... and I do have Kachanov Fed. I got Stefanos Tsitsipas and Ivo Karlovic. Like I said, I put some crazy stuff in there. But there's a path. There's a path. Is Chris Eubanks going to get through Cecchinato? I don't know. Cecchinato will probably get through because this is playing a lot like clay. So we'll keep that around. I think Isner's got to defend those points from last year. He's going to feel a lot of pressure. That could work in his favor. He likes it here. Let's look at the women's really quick. So the number 1 top quarter, Naomi Osaka, could... have to play Kerber, Andreescu, Sabalenka, Muguruza. There's one very interesting thing. We could get a rematch of the Indian Wells final, and I believe the 3rd round here. So that's always interesting. Quarter number 2, you got people like Kvitova, Ash Barty, who I've enjoyed watching. I like that she actually, has a slice backhand and does stuff a little different. Not a lot of women on the tour who have good slice backhands that Andreescu does, though. Madison Keys is there. Burton's, Azarenka. I think Azarenka won today. I was watching her in Sibylkova. So went 3. I'm not sure who finished winning that one. Sloane Stevens is the third quarter seed, and she's got points to defend as well. She won last year. She's got Pliskova, Belinda Bencic, who's been doing pretty good. Been a lot of fun to watch. Another player who has some variety in a sport where, even in the men's game, we have a lot of players that kind of look the same, kind of like the court surfaces, play the same. Got it in the women's tour too. Asta Stenko's in there. She was a finalist last year. How the times have changed. Sloane Stevens, Sevastova, Bencic, Pliskova. And the fourth quarter of the female draw, Venus and Serena having to play fairly early if they meet. Simona Halep's in there. Svitolina, Daniel Collins, the very braggadocious and proud player we learned about from the Australian Open. So there you go. That's what we got for the draw. This should shape up very interesting and play kind of like a little bit slower version of Indian Wells, is my guess. We'll have to wait and see some night matches. Of course, we'll get to see Djokovic Friday night. We'll get to see Federer Saturday night. We don't know for sure if it's night session, but I imagine it'll be a night session. Maybe not. We'll see. Djokovic Friday, Federer Sunday, or Saturday. Sunday night, I will arrive to town. Oh, we are losing time. Let's just do this really quick. I teased at the beginning of the show. Did you hear about Naomi Osaka being sued? Osaka is being sued by former junior coach Christophe Jean. Jean claims he has a contract that was entered into by Osaka's father, Leonard Francois, commonly referred to as Max, for coaching her and her sister when they were teenagers. He states the contract entitles him to 20% of both sisters' prize money endorsement deals for an indefinite period. That means like their whole career. He's seeking at least $2 million in compensation. That's enough of that. The story basically goes that Osaka's dad didn't have much money, and he said, hey, I really want to get a high-level coach. And coach said, well, if you can't afford to pay me, then just sign this saying you'll give me 20% of the prize money indefinitely. And he said, okay, I'll sign it. So it's kind of a crazy story. I believe Osaka was asked about it in press already in Miami and basically refused to say anything about it. And I don't blame her. It's a dicey situation. I think at the time she was 14 years old, maybe even 12. So I don't believe you're allowed to be entered into such a big deal contract. I mean, at the time, you never, that could easily be a zero. It's kind of a gamble for El Cocho, right? But still, a big deal to sign away 20% of your both. Imagine if the sister was killing it on tour, too. Imagine if she was 2 in the world, like a Venus Serena kind of deal. 20% of their careers, endorsements, and prize money? I don't think you should be allowed to sign away the future of your children, especially at that age. Naomi didn't sign it. The father signed it. Anyway, she hired some big wig, hotshot lawyer from New York. In fact, you know who it is? It's the guy that got former Patriots player Aaron Hernandez off of a murder case. So, bravo to Naomi Osaka. All right, that's all we got today. Comment down below. Make sure you tell the ATP we used 0 highlights. We didn't even use a tennis picture. So they can't take this video down. And if they do, oh my God, they'll really be opening up a can of the worms. See ya!